Alright, guys, welcome to Spoiler Review, where I spoil your movies for you. If you guys haven't seen, I do have a Cruella review, and I do have a Quiet Place #2. Now, of course, Cruella was kind of the movie that no one asked for, so it doesn't have that many views, but apparently everyone likes A Quiet Place #2, myself being included, so that one got a decent amount of views for being a nobody channel right now. So, speaking of being a nobody channel, you can help me not be a nobody channel by hitting that subscribe button, giving this video a thumbs up, and of course, watching all of my videos if you choose to do so. They might be bingeable, I'm not sure. So let's jump into this review of A Quiet Place. So A Quiet Place, of course, we start off with this family. Actually, well, we start off in a very creepy little grocery store. One of those little mom and pop shop grocery stores, not like Walmart or something. A little grocery store, where you pick up your milk, bread, and eggs. And then we get jump scares everywhere, which is basically the entire movie, but in a good way. Now, do I like the horror suspense genres? Not particularly. They're usually very silly, very dumb. Usually the plot lines are, oh, teens in a forest. This is a good idea. Hey, let's go into that abandoned cabin. Unsensible plot lines. This one actually makes sense. You don't find out anything about what these things are until the second movie, which I appreciate because it's kind of like, well, that's killing suspense for suspense sake. So we start off with this family in this grocery store. They're looking for medicine and canned food and whatever they can grab. Nobody talks. They all use sign language. So that's the sign for deaf. One of the girls is deaf. And then so... and she's actually a deaf character. She's actually a deaf person in real life, which most people appreciate nowadays, I guess. I don't care if she's actually deaf or not, as long as she brings the likability of a deaf person to the table. But her being deaf does actually give a lot of depth to this movie, because John Krasinski obviously is hearing. If you guys don't know who John Krasinski is, watch The Office.
What is your name, sir? I am Bill Buttlicker. Really, that's your real name? How dare you? My family built this country, by the way. Be respectful.
He is, I believe, Jim from The Office, and he is grown to be one of the better actors in Hollywood. Him and his wife, who also play in this movie, Emily Blunt, are some of the better actors in, I would say, a long time that don't really make like a bunch of movies, and they stick to what they can do, which is good, because there's a lot of actors who just kind of play things just to get the money or just to play a character. They typically play characters that they can work and make their own, which I appreciate, because that's just better acting than, oh, well, I'm this character, okay? Or this character is now me, which I've said about certain other actors in Loki, being Owen Wilson. He plays himself, which isn't a bad thing because he's a likable person, but I don't see him going into like a super dark role. If you found a movie with Owen Wilson being in a super dark role, let me know. I know that Jim Carrey has tried to pull that off, and it kind of worked. And I know that other actors have tried that, and it kind of works, but for the most part, it just kind of tanks. So we're in this little store. They're trying to get medicine. Apparently, the son has some kind of something. It looks like maybe in his chest. Maybe he has a bronchio problem or something. He's sick, and the mom is trying to look for like antibiotics and things. Um, they are all quiet, and this kid picks up this toy, and the dad comes up and freaks out without saying anything. He's like, "No, this is not a toy for you. This toy too loud." He says something like this or like this. It's too loud. So what ends up happening is he takes out the batteries out of the toy, and he puts the toy and the batteries down on the counter, and they all leave. The sister, who is deaf, is picks up the toy and gives it to the little boy. Bad idea. You know this before you even know what the concept of the movie is. If the dad says no, giving the kid the thing that the dad said no to, probably a bad idea. Now, if you know anything about A Quiet Place, you kind of know what's going on next. They get to this bridge. The kid grabs the batteries after the sister gives him the toy, and he starts walking with the family behind them, and he plugs it in, and he's pretty far behind them. He's a little kid, he's probably like maybe 5, 6, something like that. And so he plugs this thing in, and the plane starts making this noise. It's like, okay, that's great. You're probably something's about to happen, because both the parents are like, oh no. The dad looks behind. He's like, ugh. And the mom's like, oh gosh. And so the dad starts running towards the little kid. The deaf one doesn't know what's going on. She looks back and she's like crying because she knows what's about to happen. And so the dad runs towards this little kid, and all of a sudden you see this thing in the woods just like running, kind of like a demonic horse. And then it grabs and kills this kid. We will hit on what those are. They actually do have a name now, which I did not know until researching a little more on the second one, because they don't mention it in the first one or the second one unless I missed something. Maybe on one of the papers that were kind of panned through. These things are called angels of death. The reason why they're called angels of death is because they don't typically eat what they kill. And super spoiler, if you guys haven't seen part 2, go watch it, come back, because I'm going to dip a little bit into part 2 as well, just because I can. So the thing is with part 2, unless we saw this in one of the paper things, we don't know what they're called. They're called death angels. Now, what we know about these things is they will attack anything that makes a sound. Animals, we've already seen in this movie, we see them attack a raccoon that's basically just making a little chirping noise, talking to each other, and it basically squishes it and drags it in. Pretty fun jump scare. I'm assuming that it kills cows. That moo. Horses make noise. Any animals that basically make noise, anything that makes noise, if you're too loud walking, it'll kill you. If you're too loud moving, it'll kill you. They'll just find, and they're not like super sensitive, but they are more sensitive when they detect that there's something there. So, and one theory that I have about these death angels is that they they don't kill for food. They kill for some kind of sport or for just to kill. I don't think that they're technically eating anything that they kill. I think that they just kill because it makes a sound, kill it. Now, they don't kill each other, but they're particularly not in the same area as each other. We know that in this one there are three ones that they have seen. They don't particularly hunt together. Sometimes they will be in the same vicinity hunting because they all three heard a sound and are going to investigate. But it's not like they're just going to like pack animals where they will hunt together like wolves. They're more just nomadic, like, oh, there's a sound, let's go kill something. Which makes me wonder if they weren't sent here, because in part 2, spoiler alert, hello.
Hello. Now, when a lady walk in, you say hello, hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
hello.
They were sent here from space, so maybe whatever sent them here wants to get rid of the main species that lives on the planet so that they can come down and repopulate it, which would be basically sending in the dogs or the bears or lions or whatever, insert mean, vicious animals that could kill everyone here. I think that this might be a precursor to a different type of attack that's coming. So what I believe is that these death angels, aren't the intelligent thing that sent themselves here. I think that they were sent here by another form of intelligence, kind of like Starship Troopers, where they just kind of send asteroids to other planets and blow things up. I think that is within the relativity of this, because I think we're being prepped for another actual invasion. It's kind of like the precursor. It's the first wave of attack to see how we respond to these death angels, these things that are just here to kill things. So that's the idea. Now, the suspense is, yes, of course, very good. There's not a whole lot of dialogue because obviously you can't speak or they come and kill you. You never know where they are, and if you're too loud, then they will just come and kill you. Obviously, that's the point of the movie. The jump scares are pretty good. Some of them aren't just jump scares. Some of them are actually like things get killed, and they're pretty. It's not like scary. I wouldn't say that it's scary. It's more like, oh, that just happened. And so it's a fun little ride for anyone who wants to go see it, or, well, now go to your local wherever sells DVDs, or get it online on your one of the multiple streaming devices. I believe only one streaming device is actually doing it right now. And the storyline actually keeps up even if you do get the jump scares. I've watched it twice. I watched it once when it first came out, and then I watched it more recently to do this review, and I enjoyed both times. And then, of course, The Quiet Place 2 just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I saw that. So it's a good movie. It still holds up. Some of the jump scares are more predictable because if you just kind of remember where they happened, obviously it's going to take the cake out of, take the punch out of the cake, but it's pretty good. Like, it still holds up. So, would I recommend watching it? Yes. Would I recommend watching number 2 after you watch number 1? Yes. Very good movies, very good acting. It's really, I would say, harder to act when you can't say anything, especially when you're dealing with CGI characters. And honestly, the CGI has held up. It hasn't really been that long. We'll give it a good 10 years because Star Wars, episode 1 and 2 and 3, yeah, those did not age well. But, but the CGI has held up so far. We'll see what happens. But overall, good watch. I want to thank you guys again for coming in. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want to see more, there is a thing around here somewhere for that as well. Go back and watch A Quiet Place number 2 now that you watched the review on number 1. And I will see you guys later. Peace.